What's up, everybody? Pep Man, Matt Mark, kind of varsity. We're going to take a look at another 4A West playoff game. We got West Charlotte going on the road to take on Hickory Ridge. When you look at West Charlotte, a quarterback, they got Mr. Carr, thrown for about 500 yards this season. And then they've got Mr. Miller in here, thrown for 193. I don't know if all their stats are updated, so we won't use them as gospel, but I will kind of get a framework for what they like to do. And in rushing, reported Love through 9 games has 805 yards and Carr has 589. Miller, the other quarterback, has not rushed for many yards at all. Excuse me. These guys are a run-first team. With the stats that we have, they average 6.4 yards a carry. And then about 60 yards passing per game with what we have here. I've seen them live. A lot of 2 tight end sets, different formations. They like to run the zone plays, the read options, sweeps outside, some quarterback runs mixed in. Passing game's not too complicated, I guess is the best way to put it. But they do have some guys that can make some plays on the outside. When you look at receiving, actually, in the numbers we have, Love is the leading receiver. Then they have Walker, who's a pretty athletic kid, number 9, that has 14 catches with 8 games reported here on Max Preps. Offensively, they're really looking to possess the ball, move the chains, get first downs. Kind of shorten the game, but play efficient football. And they've been in some games against really good teams. They were in it against North Meck. I was at that game. They were in it against Vance for a while. They played Huff Tough for a while. The big thing with them is depth. Can they sustain everything they do on both sides of the ball for 4 quarters? And then when they get down, they don't have the type of offense that's quick strike to get you back into a game. So, when you're playing them, you want to, try to get out to a pretty good lead as soon as you can and kind of put some pressure on them offensively to try to open it up and, do some things that they don't necessarily want to do. When you look at them on defense, they're a good-looking team. They got good size. In that front 7, they come off the ball pretty well. The linebackers, I think they can really run. They tackle well in space. They can be, had a little bit in the secondary, but they have good recovery speed to make some plays on the football and, kind of catch up if they're beating coverage. Hollingsworth, number 4, has through 9 games on Max Preps has 62 tackles. I really like him. He can really fly off the edge at outside backer, kind of like a rover, outside backer, strong safety type. Really impressed with him. They got some other kids here. Gilbert, through 9 games, has 60 tackles on Max Preps. These big D linemen, they don't have a ton of stats. But what they do is they allow those linebackers to go make plays. And they got another kid, number 1, McFadgen. I hope I'm saying that right. He's got 70 tackles on the year. So those are some guys you got to watch out for on the defensive side of football for West Charlotte. Gilbert also has 10 sacks on the season, so he can create some pressure in passing situations. They're going to have to count for him at all times when you're Hickory Ridge on offense. These guys do have a kicker. The kicker won a game for them up at Lake Norman with a big kick at the end of the game. So they do have that ability, so be aware of that if you're Hickory Ridge. The biggest thing about West Charlotte that I can commend them on is the progress that they've made this season. And I don't think, and I've said this before about them, they kind of fly under the radar, so to speak, with Harding doing so well, West Meck doing so well. They're number 3 out of the West Side schools, but you could see it coming with Harding. It was already there with West Meck and what Coach Davis has done, but a lot of people didn't, give West Charlotte much of a chance this year. And for them to be in this position, it should be commended. It should be celebrated. Coach Harris and his staff have done an excellent job and rebuilding the program and getting them back to the playoffs the first time in 7 years. It's an excellent job by those guys. All right, when you look at Hickory Ridge offense, you got Dylan Ratliff at quarterback. He's thrown for about 2,300 yards this year. That's 200 yards a game, a little over 200 yards a game. 22 touchdowns and 8 interceptions. And then rushing the football, they've got a number of people here. Ratliff's actually listed as the leading rusher with 782 yards, so he's a dual threat guy. He's really smart with the football. If you look at him physically, there's nothing that would say, I'm a D1 type caliber kid, but he understands this offense and he runs it to a T, and that's what you want, especially out of a senior quarterback. Like I said, he's listed as the leading rusher, but Boyd, number 44, he is their main running back. He got hurt earlier in the season, but from what I understand, he's back, and that gives them a big element in their offense. He's able to really run the ball hard inside and keep people honest from trying to take away the passing threats that they have in the offense, and also helps on those zone reads and things of that nature. Receiving, they've got a few guys here that you have to worry about. They've actually got a guy by the name of Cruz, number 20, that's the highest receiving in terms of numbers. He got 50 catches on the year. And then they've got the two big guys on the outside, Brooks and Garner. Brooks has 36 catches, Garner 34, and they both have 8 touchdowns on the season. So when you got multiple receiving threats, it makes it tough to try to key in on, who you want to take away. When you look at defense for Hickory Ridge, they've got Connor Helm, who we met in the preseason. He's got 120 tackles as a senior. And then Wallerstedt, also as a senior linebacker, has 149 tackles. So those two lead the charge for sure for the Hickory Ridge defense. When you look at the defense, size-wise, they're not, huge, but they are going to pursue like crazy. And they're going to play their assignment, and they're going to be where they're supposed to be at all times. The big thing with them, they've just played Porter Ridge, and Porter Ridge, really had some success running the ball. So, if you're Hickory Ridge, the concern with West Charlotte is they can run the ball well too. Not necessarily in the same fashion that Porter Ridge does, but, running the ball is running the ball. And either way, you're going to have to, get ready and be on your keys, fill windows and close them when they open, and be on point. Pass rush wise, they don't have one guy that stands out. They got a couple guys with some numbers. Thompson has 5 sacks. Horn has 4.5. And then you look at the other statistics. Interceptions. Williams is a very good corner. Has 3 picks that leads the team. This season he also had the big kick block against Butler in that upset win that Hickory Ridge had. And that's the key in this one. Special teams, Hickory Ridge really excels at their special teams. I saw them block a kick also at Myers Park when I saw them earlier this season. And, that kind of stuff really swings momentum. And, West Charlotte, you're really going to have to be on point if you're going to try a field goal or extra point for that matter. Those things could come up big in this playoff game. All right, so this game's at Hickory Ridge. I expect the crowd to be really, really big. First round playoffs in 4A. It's going to be a big crowd. And the interesting thing about this game is this is a 7-10 matchup. West Charlotte being the 10, Hickory Ridge is 7. The winner gets South Caldwell. And South Caldwell is a 1-10 football team. Now, anything can happen on Friday nights, but if you win this game, you got to feel pretty good about going to the state quarterfinals. And it's not a open and shut. That's what I'm looking for. God almighty. This is not an open and shut game where you just say, well, Hickory Ridge is a 7, they should win. I think West Charlotte presents a challenge, and they're playing well. They're coming into this game. They've won, I believe, 3 out of the last 4. And, they won those going away against, and then especially a big win against Mooresville, another playoff team. So, if you're Hickory Ridge, you got to take them seriously. All right, but thanks for watching, guys. Have a good game. Appreciate your support.